This week on the podcast, we're going back into the archives all the way back to episode 1.
Episode 1, the first thing that we ever decided to talk about on this podcast. But the topic was important enough for us to go back and revisit it. So if you haven't been with the podcast for very long, it's also an opportunity for you to go back and hear one of the first things we ever talked about.
The episode was about creating margin, and it's important because this time of year, school starts back, activities kick in, work responsibilities pick back up after summer break, and you can tend to lose a lot of things that are important to you if you're not careful.
So if you're tempted to jump on the crazy train as school gets started back, work responsibilities ramp back up after summer, all of the things, make sure you take a listen to help yourself create some margin and to keep making space for one another in your marriage. Enjoy this episode of Carl and Heather Present.
Oh, don't you know it's Carl and Heather Present Marriage Podcast.
What's up, babe?
Hey.
Let's go. It's time for episode 1 of Carl and Heather Present. What are we going to talk about today?
Yeah, today we are talking about jumping off the crazy train of busyness and creating margin. Yep. And
Is that an Ozzy Osbourne reference?
It is.
Someone
Crazy train.
said once that I'm like Ozzy and you're like Sharon.
I don't know about that. Well, we'll see. Anyway, I think it's important. This is important to talk about now more than ever because we're really inundated with so many opportunities. If you think about it, 30 years ago, I didn't know what anybody was doing anywhere else except for in my small pocket of the world.
Right.
But now there's a way where I can know about everything that everybody's doing all the time. And not only can I know about it, but I can be a part of it somehow. Mm-hmm. So there's so many opportunities for education, entertainment, connection. And we crave that because I think we're made for belonging and community, and we want to be a part. We don't want to be left out, and that's a good thing. But it really makes it difficult for us to say no, and the kind of that FOMO comes out.
I mean, how did we get there? What happened to us?
Travel sports.
Travel sports. Interesting. The NFL is a travel sport.
Yeah, well,
might as well get them used to it.
Your kid's not going to be in the NFL.
Well, neither is yours. Tell Travis and Jason Kelsey that because their mom probably had them in travel sports, and now she has her own soup commercial.
Well, yeah. I mean, while that is true, and I joke about travel sports being like, the cause of all this, the reality is that we're just crazy busy as a culture, as a society. And that's true, right? You'd agree with that?
It's objectively true. We're crazy busy.
We're busy, but we're also as unhealthy, disconnected, and burnout as we've ever been. And I'm just curious if there's not a connection.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe so. There's a great book that, there's several books we're going to reference in this episode. One is The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. John Mark Comer wrote that book.
Yep.
And he was sort of encouraged and mentored in some of these practices by John Ortberg, who wrote a book called Soul Keeping.
Right.
And in John's book, he has this quote: "Hurry is not a disordered schedule. It's a disordered heart."
Man.
I really resonate with that because sometimes I get busy as a means of camouflaging like some pain or some just tiredness, not just tiredness in my body, but tiredness in my soul. And I can tell I'm disordered in my heart.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. It makes me think of a time where I felt this way in our lives. We were, let me back up and say this. You know this about me, babe, but birthdays are a big deal for me, right?
Yes.
Like birthdays are always a big deal for me. And maybe it's because, just some background, my birthday happens to be on a major holiday.
Yes,
right?
That holiday is Christmas.
It is.
Maybe the most major of all the holidays.
Yes, and when you share a holiday or a birthday with Jesus, you usually, Jesus is celebrated more than you are, which is appropriate and right.
Uh-huh.
But because
and you
of
still
that,
feel some jealousy.
I don't know about that. But because of that, I really make a big deal about birthdays. I always have. Even when we were first married, I was like, okay, we're going out to eat for my cousin's birthday, for my second cousin's birthday, for my aunt's birthday. Everybody.
For your old neighbor's birthday.
Right.
And I have a policy on birthdays. I think you should have a birthday party maybe when you turn 16, then again when you're 50,
Right.
and then again when you're 100.
Yeah.
I think that's about as much as it should be.
Yeah, so herein lies one of our big differences, right?
Yes. Yeah,
and
we're
so
super different in
This
that
is kind of where this story begins because I love birthdays. And I have trouble even now as a mom saying no to birthdays. So you know this, when our boys get invited to a birthday party, and sometimes we live in a culture also where everybody in the class, when they have a birthday party, they're required to invite everyone else in the class so no one's left out and everybody feels included and that kind of thing. But when you have 4 kids and there are a lot of birthdays, that can become a problem.
It's too much.
It's too much. And so this particular weekend where this happened, we were going out of town for work. And we had decided to leave our kids home alone for one of the first times. Now, our oldest son was 18, but we felt like we were kind of threading the needle. It was like real thin margins, talking about margins here. And we were leaving him at home with his younger 3 brothers. So basically 4 teenagers in a house together. And then came a birthday party invitation for that weekend. Okay.
The most treasured of all invitations.
A couple things about this invitation. Number one, it was about 40 minutes away from where we lived.
Yes.
Okay. It was for one of our younger sons, an invitation for him. So our oldest son, who was also providing childcare, was going to have to take him. It was at night, so he was going to have to be driving home late at night. So 40 minutes away, driving home late at night, parents are in a different state.
Right.
Okay? Lots of things that would set us up for failure in that situation.
Or just very thin margins.
Yeah. And I need to qualify this by saying this was not our son's best friend. It was not like, this is my best friend's birthday. I cannot miss out on this. This is the one birthday party if I ever go to one.
A friend of a friend?
It was kind of a classmate. Okay. So I felt it was essential that he attend this party. And really, what ensued out of that, in order for me to have my way and my inability really to create margin for our family, was a fight for us.
Yeah.
Right? We got in a fight about it.
I got mad at you about this.
Yeah,
because
you were mad.
It was a lot.
It was just too much. And the root cause of it for me was FOMO. I want to celebrate every birthday. I don't want to miss out on anything. But the reality is that I was a creator of chaos for our family. And I don't want to be that. And sometimes we balance each other out as husband and wife. You have things that balance me out and I have things that balance you out. But then I think other times we mirror each other's blind spots, right? Would you say that's right?
Yeah, I think so.
And so this was a blind spot for me. And the way I look at it is the way our life was at that time. And what I was trying to do is, if you think about a book and you look at, open the pages of a book, and on the left and at the top and at the bottom, there are margins, and it makes it easy to read that book because it gives you visual space.
Yeah.
Okay. That weekend, I was trying to cram in everything so that our boys wouldn't miss out on an experience.
Yeah.
And it was as if it were a book with no margins at all.
Is one of the reasons you do that, especially when we were traveling, was it to mitigate the fact that you felt like we were robbing the boys of something by being out of town, and we were gone, and then you feel like you needed to make that up to them by creating this opportunity for them to go to this birthday party? Because our kids love a birthday party.
Yeah. That's totally fair. And that is right. That is, you're so right in that I didn't want my schedule to impose at all on their social schedules or calendars, which also probably leads to another issue with why we schedule ourselves the way we do as a culture.
Which I might add, our son's social calendars are robust and luxurious.
They are.
And they're moving play dates so that they can go yachting with their friends and, go on trips. That's amazing. We're almost as busy now with leisure and fun for our kids as we are with our own jobs.
Yeah.
It's like a second full-time job, scheduling our kids stuff.
Right. And even I would say our culture, does that. Again, looking back, you think about resting. We would used to, like Sundays, regardless of what religious faith you belong to, everything was closed. It was a day off. It was a day of rest. And now, even with like schedules for kids, Sunday is just an extra Saturday.
Absolutely.
We're gonna cram in everything we can, and that's why people like live for the weekend and crash, and then dread Mondays, and then they live for that week or two vacation, and then they're exhausted when they get back from that because we try to cram in so much into our schedules.
Before electricity and the light bulb, take a guess on how many hours a night sleep the average person got.
Oh, like 9?
This is from John Mark Comer's book.
9? I don't know.
11. Because you went to bed shortly after sundown because, you didn't have candles that could burn all night.
Right.
And you woke up with the sun. And then that amounts to about 11 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. And we're talking about people that got a lot of stuff done, like the American Revolution.
And Little House on the Prairie.
Oh my gosh.
Charles Ingalls. We need to have a whole episode on that
About
because that's
productivity.
your favorite show.
That's a manly man looking you right in the eye right there.
Yeah.
Charles,
yeah.
so compassionate. So good. But we've got to have a conversation about getting off the crazy train and creating margin. And here's why. Because when we limit margin, we limit the opportunity for intimacy and connection with God and each other. Margin is the space where connection grows in our relationships and in our relationship with God. And when we limit margin, the more we limit margin, which that's true of a society, whether you're a Christian or not, the margins have gotten thinner and thinner and thinner. The sleep now is down to 6 or 7 hours a night.
Right.
Because we gotta go to bed late and wake up early because we can't stop churning.
Right.
The places where we meet God and really where we meet each other is when we make time to create margin, because margin's where connection happens.
Yep. That's right.
Jesus said, "Come to me, all you who are burdened and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Jesus invites us to come find rest in him, and that renews our strengths and helps us avoid burnout. But it's an invitation that you must RSVP to. You have to accept it, You have to accept an invitation in order to enjoy a party.
Yep.
Like your birthday party.
Right.
But we have to prioritize and figure out the places that are the most meaningful. The thing that we most need to be at, the place we most need to meet at, is a lot of time meeting with God. But showing up is our part of it. But if we're always declining his invitation, it's no wonder we don't experience rest.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just went through a season where I was really tired and worn out from ministry and working at a church, and I needed rest. And I could rest if I wanted to, but there's this other impulse in me that said, you ought to be doing something. You ought to be moving. You got to get going. And during that time, I'm still in it as of this recording. The Holy Spirit helped me to remember rest is not inaction. Patience is not doing nothing. It's taking time to rest might even be more important than any other thing. And creating margin does that.
That's true. Well, and I think the reason it might be so difficult for us, and I resonate with that when you said that, babe, about, anytime I rest or create margin, sometimes there's this like devil angel on my shoulder saying, hey, you need to be doing something. You need to be producing something. You need to be moving forward. And I think that's because culture celebrates that. We love to say, oh, I'm just so busy. I just got so much going on. Oh, good for you. You got a lot going on. Let's celebrate that. And I don't know if that is what's best for our hearts and our souls in the end. You mentioned that book by John Mark Comer, and he says this in his book. He says, not only does hurry keep us from the love, joy, and peace of the kingdom of God, the very core of what all human beings crave, but it also keeps us from God himself simply by stealing our attention. And with hurry, we always lose more than we gain. There's this idea that we just don't have time to create margin. Like we've got too much to do. And so there's really not any time to create margin, but we really have to do that. And we've come up with a way to be able to do that. And we got this idea from Family Life.
Yes.
Great resource, familylife.com for marriages and families.
Yep.
But they gave us this idea of something called calendaring our companionship. Yep. And it's just this idea that once a week, once a month, and once a year, we put on a calendar, okay? And not once a week, one time a year, but every week we put a time on a calendar, and then one time a month, and then one time a year. So once a week we connect, and it could be a quick connection, like a cup of coffee, a walk, just intentional time to check in, right?
Yep.
And then once a month we have an extended date. So
Like
we
a
might
date
go
night.
like a date night. We could go to dinner, movie,
Go to Chili's.
go to Chili.
If you're doing something fancy.
If
Maybe
you wanna
that's
get dressed
not,
up. Yeah.
Not as often.
And then
love
once a
Chili's.
year, we go away together overnight. And we would recommend a Family Life Weekend to Remember.
We Can Remember. Heather and I speak at We Can Remember.
Yeah.
It's, you can sign up for it on familylife.com. We'll talk about that more later. But if you're looking for a once a year way to get away, to work on your marriage, to grow together in oneness, and to create some margin, because they're usually in fun places. They're usually in a good place that you'd want to go. That has helped us so much to focus on what matters the most.
Right.
And you taught me this: the thing that you focus on grows.
Yeah.
The thing that you focus on grows, and we don't naturally focus on margin. I know I don't. I think I say busy is good, and not busy is lazy. You know, that's my natural impulse. And that's actually contrary to what the Spirit of God has laid out for us in the Ten Commandments. You know, it's like that message, honor the Sabbath and keep it holy, is prioritize rest.
Right.
You know, there is something very, very important about this. If I had 10 things to tell you, this makes the list. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so honoring the Lord in that. But we're very different when it comes to creating margin.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily, do it the same way that our spouse does. It's important that we do it though.
Right. And I would say that this is an area, we both struggle in different ways, but I will say from the get-go, this is just a natural bent for me where I struggle, an area where I struggle. I feel like you've always been pretty good at saying no to the good things in order to protect the best things. Mm-hmm. But I have that FOMO. I have that FOMO. I want to do it all. And it's particularly true with our as we've had kids. I mean, it happened before we had kids. So kids or no kids, I often sacrifice the health of our family to say yes to our kids. And I think probably, I would say, as a culture, we do that as well.
Yeah. Well, it's something that I think about a lot. What you just said, because I love my kids. I love your kids too. They're great. They're the same kids. I love them. But that's one of the things where, although we're very different, where we need to be on the same team or at least on the same page,
Right.
About creating margin for our kids. Because it's not just like I don't want to be as busy as I was. That margin is actually it's not doing nothing. It's creating space for the Lord to fill, and for His presence to be recognized and understood. And so when we don't create margin in our families, how do our kids know how to do it for their families?
Right.
And I think a lot of it is, we've gotten busier and busier and busier and busier generation after generation. My grandparents, they probably played sports, but they did it in the backyard. And then the next generation, they did it, in the community center. The next generation, they did it, on a travel team, that was local. And then, it keeps going. And we're going to Dubai this weekend to play for, for the little leagues.
Yeah.
If we don't learn to create margin, how will the next generation, how will our kids learn to create margin? If our kids don't see us making time to pray, they will not learn how to pray.
That's right.
And if they don't see us making time to connect with one another, they will not probably, be invited to a lot of date nights. But even when you pay for a sitter and let them know, look them in the eye and say, hey, fellas, we're leaving for a few hours because mom and dad are making time for one another. That is a strong message that sends to them, hey, these people are prioritizing each other and time with each other. And And I think that lets our kids see, like, whether it's a great date night or not, whether you get in a fight in the car on the way there, our kids see, especially when it's done consistently, a mom and dad who are creating enough margin because they're saying time with you matters more than any other thing. I'm going to prioritize it.
Yeah. And I think the idea for all of those, like our kids will watch what we do. They'll know how to pray if they see us pray. If we intentionally pursue each other, they'll do it. Is that just the idea of more is caught than taught? So like they're going to do what they see us do.
100%.
They're not going to do what they hear us say if what we do and what we say are incongruent.
Yeah.
If those two don't match up, they're not going to do that.
Psalm 46:10, be still and know that I'm God. We don't know God because it's hard for us to be still. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if making just a little bit more margin in our lives would create the space for us to know God more, for reflection and prayer. That certainly deepens a connection with who God is. And the thing about God, he lives outside of time. So he can do as much with 30 seconds of prayer, And you might be listening and thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so busy. I don't have any margin. Mm-hmm. Just starting with the practice of just maybe a breath prayer in the morning. Mm-hmm. This is the day the Lord has made. I'll rejoice and be glad in it. Take a few beats, take a few breaths. Starting to build some. I think it'll grow. The thing you focus on grows, but I think it'll grow.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think it also, when we create margin and rest, that it restores us physically and emotionally, and it gives us energy for relationships. Yeah. One of the things that we hear couples say that causes the most conflict in their lives is that they're just tired. They have no margin in their schedules, so they have no time to connect. Yeah. It's not that they're missing each other as far as like you think one thing, I think the other. We're not even connecting to understand or see or hear what the other person feels. And so we've got to take time to restore our physical and emotional energy for each other.
Yeah. Ephesians 5:22 says, trust God and lean on him and work out your salvation together. Love fiercely as Christ loved the church. Intentional time, building it, things you sign up for, things you pay for, and things you cheer for are super important for people to realize how valuable that they are. And if you got some skin in the game, you sign up for something, you pay for something, and then you cheer for something. You talk about, hey, we're doing this thing. We're doing this together. Like me and you doing this podcast.
Yeah.
We signed up for it.
Yep.
We're paying for it.
Yep.
And we're cheering for it. Mm-hmm. That's the space in which intimacy grows or connection starts to grow. And I think it's important to remember that we work on things together, doing things together, even spending a little bit of time together, making a hobby. We almost have no hobbies together.
We need to work on that.
I don't know if this is a hobby, but
maybe.
But like I like sports. You're into. What are you into?
Reading, naps,
napping,
chocolate.
Yes. I mean, I like all those things. Dogs.
I like dogs.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe maybe we can do some listener shout outs. If our listeners would say, what's a hobby that Carl and Heather can do together? That would be fun. I mean, we would love recommendations on that.
You could play disc golf with me.
Or you could play pickleball with me. I don't know.
Do you play a lot of pickleball, Heather?
No, but I have the equipment.
Yeah.
I'm ready. Wow. I bought it at Christmas.
Yeah. Okay. And here we are in September.
Hey, let me read this quote by Stephen Covey. I love it. It says, the key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. We make time, for the things that are important to us. That's true. And our calendars are just a tool for helping us to become who we want to be. So maybe an idea would be to look back at your calendar over the last month to see and ask yourself, am I creating margin? And if not, What am I giving what were those things that you said, the cheering for? Say those again. I love it.
Cheering for, signing up for, and paying for.
So what does my calendar say I'm cheering for, signing up for, and paying for?
Yeah.
And if that's not what now, let me just say this. We are joking about travel sports kind of because like I know some people who they are involved in travel sports, but they have plenty of margin in their lives.
Yeah.
And so it's not necessarily about this activity or that activity. It's looking at your calendar and saying, are my priorities on the calendar or is my calendar prioritizing me in my life?
That's exactly right.
So,
I think travel sports are great.
yeah, absolutely.
Unless they're killing your family.
Absolutely.
Unless they're killing
Yep.
your connection with God.
sure.
And then put them on the table.
Yep.
Because there's nothing worth sacrificing your marriage for or your intimacy connection with God.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, we're going to wrap up this episode of Carl and
Yeah.
Heather Presents. But before we do, we're going to talk about a couple of things. You and I have a fall schedule coming up.
We do.
We're busy.
Yep.
Where are we going to be?
Okay, so every week I'm going to be teaching at a mom's group, Moms Together at Fellowship Bible Church in Brentwood and Franklin, Tennessee. And just side note, you can go to carlandheather.com and find out more about all these events. So if you're like, oh, I want to find out more about that, you can find out. So I'm going to be there. And then we'll be October 13th. Tell us about what's happening then, babe.
October 13th is our next worship house. It happens at our house. If you want to come to it, it's a gathering for worship, prayer, and testimony where we ask the Holy Spirit to work in and through our community. We had our first one this past week. It was awesome. If you want to come to Worship House, it's October 13th. DM us on social media to find out the address.
Yeah. And then October 26th, you're going to be at Hope Community Church in Shelby, North Carolina. They're having a men's conference.
Yeah, I'm leading worship for a men's conference at Hope Community Church. And then that's October 26th. And then on October 27th, the next morning, I'll be leading worship for their morning worship service. And I think you might be with me.
Yep. And then November 7th through the 17th, I'm going to be heading to Africa. I'm going to do a mission trip with my friend Mike Vogt.
I wonder if they play that song a lot there.
Probably not. Probably not. So I'll be in South
Toto
Sudan.
is huge in South Sudan.
Yeah. So you can pray for me for that.
Western Avenue Baptist, Statesville, North Carolina, November 15th through the 17th. I'm going to be leading worship and speaking there. And we have a weekend to remember, November 22nd through 24th. Where is it at?
It is in Williamsburg, Virginia.
I like to call it Colonial Williamsburg.
Colonial Williamsburg, Virginia.
It's right in the middle of all the things. Will you be wearing a bonnet?
I will not. I will not be wearing a bonnet. But you can come and get tickets on familylife.com. Or if you're like, that's too far for me, there are tons of other places where amazing other speakers will be friends of ours. And so you can go and sign up for one near
But
you.
if you want to be at one where Heather and I are speaking,
Right.
your
will
chance to do it
Yep.
is November 22nd through the 24th in beautiful Colonial Williamsburg.
Yep. And then finally, November 28th. What's happening, babe?
Thanksgiving Miracle Breakfast. The annual tradition will be the 25th year of Thanksgiving Miracle Breakfast. We gather our friends and families and our friends' family. That's good.
Something like that. Yeah.
We gather
Close.
them and we serve breakfast to, last year we had about 110 people in our home, and we have a home that fits about 25 if it's tight.
Right.
And so,
Yeah.
we had that many people at our house, but Thanksgiving morning breakfast is at 9, and I'm serious. The invitation goes out
It's open.
to anybody who can hear this. If you want to know our address, DM us on social media and we'll tell you, and you can come hang out with us and free breakfast.
Yeah.
Can't bring anything except for a grateful heart.
Yep. It's a blessing. We hope to have you. So we are working on something new, right, babe?
Yep.
We are writing a book.
This whole thing is new, yeah.
We're writing a book on marriage, and it'll be a study as well. And we're going to talk more about that in the future, but prayers as we write that. Also, one of the things we love to do is bring this ministry of marriage to a live group setting. So if you're interested in having us come to your church or marriage event, reach out to us on social media, or always you can do carlandheather.com.
All right. Remember, as you're scheduling your week and the months to come, create some margin because margin is a space where connection grows. Thank you for listening. Join us for next episode where we're going to talk about what?
Communication. What in the world are you talking about?
Why do you say it that way?
I just did. This is what we're talking about
Okay. All right. Together's better.
together.